Hey everybody, it's Colin from the Cult of Copy Show. This week's episode is going to be a little different in that it's not going to be recorded live because by the time you watch this, I will be driving cross country for a family trip. But a few weeks ago, I was in Denver, Colorado with some friends of mine for a little private mastermind, and I got to sit down with Brad Gosse, a good friend of mine. Very interesting character. He wrote the book The Chronic Marketer, if you're familiar with that. I came up with the name, but I was able to sit down with him and talk to him about a project that he is working on where he created a cartoon character that promotes dental hygiene. And as weird as that sounds, he's already got corporate sponsors in the 5-figure range and more being built up every day. Dental offices are buying books that feature this character to teach kids to brush their teeth. The character is called Brushy Bear, and there's more to it than you might think based on the description, but we have a very in-depth discussion about how he came to this business model, which I guess you would think of as licensing, creating intellectual property that people will pay you to license because it's valuable. So we talked for about a half hour. It was audio only because I recorded it over brunch, so apologies for the background noise in the recording. You should have some kind of decoration to cover that if you're watching this in video form, but otherwise the audio is good enough to me for my purposes of listening to, so I hope you will enjoy it too. That's it. We'll see you next week for another live episode of the Cult of Copy Show, and I hope you enjoy this interview. If you like it, please do leave a comment because I would love to do more of these for you if it's something you got value out of. So brunch with the cult leader, that would be a fun thing, right? Anyway, let us know, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. Okay, everybody, I'm having a brunch with my buddy, Brad Gosse. You should already know who he is, but if you don't, feel free to look him up. We're going to skip all the cheesy introductions. He's doing something fun right now with a cartoon character called Brushy Bear that I wanted to chat with him about while we're here in Denver at the Mile High Mastermind. So we're just going to dive right in and start asking questions. So for people that don't know, Brad, what is Brushy Bear exactly?
Brushy Bear is a cartoon character that I invented for the dental health vertical space. Okay. And he has a sidekick named GlossyBox and a villain named Cavity Cat.
Okay. And what I like about it is that like you have no background or passion for dental hygiene.
I'm not a dentist.
It's a purely commercial invention.
Yes.
And like why cartoons? You have a background in cartoons, right? For people that don't know.
Yeah, I started selling stuff online, in the late '90s, but I moved into information marketing in like 2010, 2011, and I really hated the typical dear friend sales letter that you see, the all words, no images, just red headlines and highlights, and that style didn't resonate with my style.
Right.
And so I did a few that way, and I didn't like them, and then I had to launch for a product that I did with my friend Justin Popovich years ago called Drip Fed Blogs.
Okay.
And we had written the typical dear friend sales letter, and I hated it. And I stayed up all night redesigning the sales letter to look like a comic book.
Right.
I used clip art.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You even either gave away or sold the template for making those comic book style sales letters.
I did later, and actually used your formula for making the sales letters, but in the comic style. But the what I really liked about it was that it was the sales letter itself was entertaining, and it drew people down the page, and I got so many affiliates to promote it, not just because they love the product, but because you got to see the sales letter. That was kind of the I got WSO of the day, and like Mike Lance sent it to his list and said, you just got to see this.
Right.
And it did so well that I realized that was my thing. I loved cartoons.
Okay.
And so I hired a full-time cartoonist to help me with my sales copy, and then she ended up doing all the cartoons for my book.
Right. I remember that.
I just kept her.
Right. For those that haven't read it, the book he's talking about is Chronic Marketer.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you came up with the title.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
So that was, that was a huge book for me. And then once I started doing the cartoons, I just couldn't get away from it. Every time I did a sales letter, I had to use cartoons because everybody was expecting that.
Right.
And I was expecting it. I didn't want to sell for less.
Right.
And so now I have 6 full-time cartoonists.
Nice.
And a cartoon, clip art / stock kind of business.
Right. And what's that called?
It's called VectorTunes.com.
Okay.
And, it's just, you want a screaming kid for your sales letter, or you want like a slack-jawed yokel. I have all that stuff.
Well, yeah, what I like about the variety that you have is it's almost like you look at other collections online and you're like, let me fill in the gaps that no one else has instead of doing the same stuff everyone else has.
Yeah, we have a lot of fringe content. Yes,
yep.
Thank you.
Sweet. Trade you, buddy.
I'll switch that up.
Thank you, sir.
This latte looks delicious.
Nice. Got a little fern on there.
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture of that and put it on Instagram because nobody does that.
Really?
Nobody ever puts their lattes on Instagram.
Oh, man.
All right, go ahead.
So you were talking about VectorTunes, and you had your catalog of VectorTunes.
Yeah, and so I had this team of people. They're really creative. They're really awesome at what they do, but they're creating clip art.
Right.
And that's great, but it doesn't have, I kept thinking to myself, I have all these like crazy ideas for other cartoon characters, and maybe I could create something that's more licensable to a large industry.
Okay.
And so I had a few fails along the way. I came up with a cartoon character called Camel Tony. And, the idea was he would kind of be like a yoga pants meme character. Like, every time someone posts a picture of themselves in yoga pants, someone could use Camel Tony in the replies to like make fun of them or whatever.
I could see the downside of that is like where's the money angle? Because like most of the time when you make a meme, like it belongs to the culture. You can't tap into it anymore.
Well, that's true and it's not true, right? Like I went to Licensing Expo in Las Vegas and I learned a lot about how cartoon licensing works.
Okay.
And one of the big hits at Licensing Expo was Grumpy Cat. And Grumpy Cat started out as memes. And Grumpy Cat makes like $4 million a year in licensing fees.
Jeez.
Selling.
Well, it shows what I know.
Yeah, it puts the once.
Shut up, Colin.
Yeah, really. once your brand and your meme has hit critical mass, then big corporations aren't going to steal it.
Because you can clamp down on the merchandising once you hit that point.
Yeah, so the people who own Grumpy Cat own the likeness.
I got
and Purina Cat Chow wants a Grumpy Cat food. They got to pay licensing rights to the owner of Grumpy Cat.
Okay, so your goal was to create something kind of like that, and Camel Tony was not it.
Was not it. Yeah, he was a fail. So, I tried a couple of other things, and none of them really worked, and then I came up with this idea to hit the dental health niche because it's a vast space. There's, dentists, there's hygienists, there's dental associations.
And we were talking about it before. I have a kid in, preschool, and some lady dressed up like the Tooth Fairy and came around to give him toothbrushes, and it's a thing. I remember from when I was a kid. You know, like it's one of those weird indoctrination markets where it's like, let's jam a cartoon character in there to try and teach you how to behave yourself.
Yeah, exactly. He's like Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy or anything, right? And you can create your own story and narrative and legend around these habits that people are trying to teach their kids, and sometimes telling them mythological stories helps.
Right. Yeah. Storytelling. It's like a moral tale.
Yeah.
I like it. So you have this idea for a character, and you want to push it into this market. And I'm going to skip ahead and get to the end point and like where you are now success-wise with it, and then we'll back up to say, okay, well, like how did I decide to make a cartoon bear who wants you to brush your teeth into something that actually makes money? So how is it already? First of all, how long have you been working on Brushy Bear?
I came up with the idea about 6 months ago, and I had the cartoons created as soon as I came up with the idea, and then they sat on my hard drive until the first week in December.
Okay, so 2 months.
In 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, from making it public to today is 2 months.
Okay, and what has come about already with that?
So I have a relationship with the Kentucky Dental Association. I have, and they're buying wholesale books. I have a corporate sponsor called Tongue Brush. I have my videos and songs have been seen by over 200,000 dental professionals online.
Okay.
And it's being shared. The videos and songs are being shared by dentists' offices to their Facebook pages like crazy. So I actually have a bunch of videos that have gone viral on Facebook in that space. Right. Hygienists are tagging each other in the video. Right. Hey, you're Flossy Fox. Who's Brushy Bear? You know, right. There's a lot of that kind of virality going on.
You're really tearing up the online dental cartoon character niche.
Exactly. Yeah, I've created a category, so to speak.
Now, corporate sponsorship, I presume that's like a recurring kind of deal?
Yeah. So what I try and do early on with these kinds of deals, in any business I go into, is I try and make the first deal really lucrative for the sponsor, so that
right.
they're not putting a lot of money in my pocket, they're putting a lot of money into their own advertising efforts.
Right.
So the idea is try and create a win-win situation for you and the corporate sponsor. For me, it was, hey, I've got these videos that go viral. You have advertising videos that don't go viral. I can, use my viral content marketing scheme
right.
to insert your product into my songs, and my videos can go viral. You can pay for the ads to seed them.
Right.
Because, the people always think viral means, I just upload it to YouTube and I got 1 million views overnight, and that never happens, right? You need some kind of push.
You got to shove it until it hits that tipping point,
yeah,
and then it happens naturally.
Right. Yeah. So right now it's costing me about $100 to get a video in front of 150,000 people.
Well,
because it's so viral.
Right.
The hygienists keep sharing it with each other, so the free views.
So it's like when you target it well enough, that market has so little content created just for them.
Yeah, that they go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that there's a book, so that's a product, and the sponsorship is money coming in for just, I guess you'd call it product placement.
Yeah, exactly.
Brushy Bear videos.
Yeah, they're paying for the ads and putting some money in my pocket to create the content that markets their product.
So, oh sweet,
food is here.
All right, we're back after we had a delicious vegan brunch.
That was your first vegan brunch?
It's not the first vegan meal, but I think it's specifically the first vegan brunch.
First vegan omelet?
Yeah. I had a Denver omelet, where typically a Denver omelet, like half the ingredients are non-vegan. It's like eggs and ham and onions and peppers. So it was good. I like that a lot.
Nice.
It's like expanding my horizons. So I'm not completely sure where we left off, but we're going to dive right in again. So you mentioned that there's a book that you created that one state dental association is already doing orders for.
Yep.
And I imagine the goal is to roll that out. So like why a book? What made you think like a book is the way to get this character out there?
The book was just one of many facets to get the character out, and I think that, if you're marketing to, the market for me is a trickle-down market. It's, the bottom of the market is children. That's who I want to see the character and love the character and buy the books, or the parents. But I thought if I advertised it to hygienists, and dentists, that it would trickle down to the moms and the kids. And
so, correct me if I'm wrong. It's not like the point of this whole thing is not book sales.
No.
The book is the ad for...
The book is a vehicle for Brushy Bear.
Right.
To make him...
And then once he gets enough recognition, then it's about more licensing.
Right. And so the book is really a blueprint for future corporate sponsorships.
Okay.
So the first book is like a superhero origin story. It's like how Brushy became...
Right.
Why is this little bear in my mouth brushing my teeth?
Which I want to point out, I looked at the book, and it opens with the scene of like Brushy Bear's dad on his deathbed.
Yes.
Which is just incredible for a story about a bear who helps you brush your teeth. Just very outside the box thinking, but very, very in line with mythic story hero arcs.
I can't take credit for the story. I hired a writer for that, but it was really the way he came up with the story. The backstory was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you willing to plug him?
Yeah. His name's on the book. Jason Canigan is my writer.
Yeah, I know Jason also.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I was very interested to see that he was the one who wrote Brushy Bear.
Because he's a copywriter.
Yeah. You would say, okay, well, that was the guy who cares about brushing your teeth. But yeah, it's very. That's what I love about the character so much is that, like, it's just on the edge of where, like, is this just a troll? Is this just a game? Or is this a real thing? And the answer is it's kind of both.
Yeah.
Which is what makes it so interesting. It wouldn't be viral if it was just a cheesy cartoon character at the surface level, but it's because there's that little edge that it makes it interesting. And I guess that leads to the next topic, is the whole way I discovered that you were even doing Brushy Bear is because you started sharing these Twitter exchanges you were having with people. Because you opened a Twitter account for Brushy Bear. So what do you do with that Twitter account?
So using an app called TweetDeck, you can run searches on what they call the Twitter fire hose, which is like the entire stream of new tweets coming out.
Right.
And so I can say, okay, show me all the public tweets that are hitting out from people who are at the dentist right now or who are going to the dentist today. And so there's a lot of tweets that I see where people are like, ugh, I hate the dentist, or dentist appointment today, or screw the dentist, or whatever, like people who are just mad, or dentist messed with my mouth, or dentist cost too much money, or whatever. And I thought it would be fun as Brushy Bear to troll those people at the dentist and kind of bust their balls a little bit.
But completely in character.
Yes, 100%. Always. Brushy Bear on Twitter and social media is 100% in character. Even when people communicate with me via the Facebook page, like hygienists will hit me up and say, hey, can you make us a song about dry mouth? Because we got these special needs kids. And I always respond as Brushy Bear. And like, I never say, thanks, Brad. Or whatever. It's like, and sometimes I'll be like, okay, let me talk it over with GlossyBox and get back to you. I've made a point to never break character, for whatever reason. I don't even know why. But the whole
but again, that's what makes it so interesting, is that, like, you're just not sure if it's a put on or not, because it's got these little weird elements, like opening with a death scene in a children's book, and the way that thank you, that people expect to. They expect you to argue with them as Brushy Bear, like you're just messing with them, but you're like, no, I'm a cartoon bear, and it helps you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
And you told me something that was interesting, is that it's the point of doing the Twitter is not making Twitter posts, it's to take screenshots that you can then use as advertisement on social media, which I thought was amazing, because tons of those, like, Twitter, iPhone exchanges get screenshotted and shared around.
Yep.
And you're basically like crowdsourcing your advertisements and like coaxing people into participating.
Yes.
It's almost like those man on the street ads where someone just jabs a microphone in your face and their reaction is recorded.
Yeah.
And I just like where are you going to go further with that, if anywhere?
So the idea of the trolling is to curate the absolute best exchanges, of which I have a ton.
Right.
Like one of my favorite comebacks from Brushy is when people are complaining about the dentist. I always say things like, do you need a hug, bro? Or or if it's a girl, I'll say, do you need a hug, girl? And every once in a while I'll get these like really bizarre responses where they're like, fuck off, Brushy Bear, or like, what is this? What is with this bear sass? What's with the sarcastic sass bear? Like they just lose it. And one of my favorite exchanges was some girl was having a rough time at the dentist, and I responded and asked her if she needed a hug. And her boyfriend tweeted Brushy Bear back, and he was like, nah, bro, she good.
He bowed up on Brushy Bear.
Yeah. and so these make for really interesting, like you screenshot these conversations, and they become bigger entertainment than the actual conversation.
Well, what I love about it is that, in a way, it takes Brushy Bear out of his, like, fantasy cartoon world and drops him plop in the middle of, like, our actual gritty, angry world.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, completely unfazed by it.
Yeah.
He's just, like plucked out of his happy cartoon existence and is like, yeah, no, it's cool. I'm a real person. That's fine.
Yeah.
And what I like, so far, all that we've talked about, you have illustrators on staff already that draw all the pictures.
Yep.
You hired a writer to write the book. You do the tweets yourself.
Yep.
And so far, 2 months of these kind of shenanigans have led to like a major corporate sponsor.
Yeah.
And the goal is to leverage that first one into a win-win relationship to get even more bigger ones, which then will increase brand recognition because they're going to help you get even bigger distribution.
Exactly. It's all leverage.
So what do you see as like the ultimate goal of Brushy Bear? You want like national recognition of the character across?
Yeah, I would love that. I would love international recognition. I'd like to see, I mean, you know, maybe it's far-fetched, but maybe even a Saturday morning cartoon at some point, right? I mean,
you're saying that because we joked, and I said he was a D-level character and he would never have his own show.
But I believe
you looked real sad.
I was sad when you said that, and I'm still sad thinking that. But in my head, he has the ability to do that because he can plug any product, right? Companies like, you know, that make toothpastes and toothbrushes and mouthwash for kids and all that kind of stuff are always looking for avenues to market their products. And we all know that the traditional 30-second ad spot is dead. And these companies are looking for ways to insert themselves into these, you know, children's lives. Like when we were kids, we watched Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh yeah,
and all the commercials were just, you know, and the cartoons themselves were, you know.
Well, if you remember, they used to have to stick like a little public service announcement lesson at the end.
Yeah.
That they were legally obligated to do that, or else they weren't allowed to air them because they were advertisements. Without that one little lesson, they're like, "This is just a toy commercial, guys.
Yeah.
There's no content for children in here that's appropriate."
Yeah. That's how I learned all my grammar.
There you go.
So that's the end goal is to be big enough where he either has a series or he has, you know, maybe products like a Brushy Bear toothbrush or a Brushy Bear toothpaste.
What's good about like dental hygiene is that you can extend it even beyond that to be like, here's healthy snacks, here's like juice that won't give you cavities,
exactly,
things like that. So like there's expansion opportunities beyond just like dentist offices.
Yeah, just beyond cleaning your teeth, there's a whole other vertical there.
And like, so is the goal to continue to find these create these kind of intellectual properties in different verticals, or to focus on one and really dial it in and go as deep as you can and then use that as the model?
I don't really think there, you know, I thought about this hard, and I don't really think there's other verticals that I could just create new characters in.
Right.
The dental health space is sort of, it's in its own bucket.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I move to, like, the doctor, that's a whole different world, and it's creepy in some ways. and you know, like, there's no cartoon character that's going to help chiropractors or massage therapists or insurance agents or, you know, so
like you could create those, but those would never be more than like an ironic joke.
Yeah.
Whereas with the dentistry one, it can operate as an ironic joke, but also as a straightforward, like, he really does encourage kids to brush their teeth.
Exactly. Yeah. And adults, right? Because the humor is designed to hit two levels, right? It's designed to make the adults resonate with it on one level and the kids on another.
Yeah, I just really enjoy the idea of this like subversive cartoon character that's like, it's like the minister who goes into the biker bar because that's where the centers are. You know what I mean? And you're like, I'm a cartoon bear and I'm going on Twitter to tell people to brush their teeth.
Yeah.
It's just the silliest but most effective idea, and that's I think one of the reasons why we're such good business buddies, is because we both come up with really stupid ideas that people will tell us won't work, but we don't ask them.
No.
We just do it anyway, and then by the time people are paying attention to it, it's already working.
Yeah.
You know, so like no one can say it's not. No one can say it's a waste. It's like, well, it's already, here's the result.
I already have success. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about the music, so that's another aspect of it. I found, because I didn't even know the music existed. I had only seen the Twitter stuff before we talked this weekend.
Right.
So tell us the process of why songs and how you're getting them done, because that was my favorite part. Is like how dirt cheap you're getting viral content created.
So when I had Jason write the book, I also told him I wanted him to write a song.
Okay.
And I gave him no direction. I just let him be creative. I was like, write the book, write the song, figure it out. And he did a great job on the book, and he did a really good job on the song. And I got the song recorded by somebody on Fiverr for like $40. Basically, just give him the lyrics.
Yeah.
He does the music and gives you the copyright.
Did you? I asked this because the songs are in such a bizarre style choice to begin with. Did you like look at a lot of different Fiverr musicians before saying this is the guy?
I did.
This is the guy to be the voice of Brushy Bear.
Yeah, and I did. And this guy had a gentle voice, and he had acoustic guitar, and kind of folky.
It's like very like Jim Croce, like Cat Stevens, kind of like strumming on the guitar and telling you a little tale.
Yeah,
it's like
you could picture there's someone singing in front of a classroom of kids, right, with a guitar.
Like total old hippie.
Yeah, and then we just sped it up a little bit to make him sound
That's
like a cartoon.
my favorite part is that it's just tweaked to be Chipmunk style.
Yeah,
but the songs again, like what's the tongue one that you have now? Can you say that one, or is that?
That one's not out yet, so I can't talk about that one because I'm still waiting on approval from the court because it's kind of edgy. Well, hopefully you can put it in the notes maybe for this.
Right. Well, give me one that is out in the open.
Yeah,
so people can see how it's kind of like it is subversive.
They're weird, right? Yeah. So Jason did one it's just called the Brushy Bear song, and that got a lot of viral spreading on Facebook when I promoted it to hygienists. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to write a bunch more of these, and I just figured I would write them myself. So I started writing. I just had ideas, and I thought I'll just sit down and try and write some of these. And so the first one I came out with was called "I Don't Hate the Dentist Because He's Lonely." And the idea behind it is, you remember when you were a little kid and you saw your teacher at the grocery store for the first time?
Right, and you realize they're an actual person?
Yeah, you realize that they don't live at the school, and they don't. Their whole existence isn't to serve you, right?
Right.
And so I thought I would kind of use that premise behind this song, which was, when you're a kid and you go to the dentist and you leave, and you're gone for 6 months, he is bored and lonely.
He's just sitting there by himself.
Yeah, he's waiting for just you to come back, right? And so that was, the song starts off with I only go 2 times a year. The rest of the time he's bored to tears. And it's got a picture of the dentist playing solitaire and he's crying. And it says, I don't hate the dentist because he's lonely. And of all the songs I did, that one has gotten the cheapest, the cost per video view on that is $0.00009 cents.
Right. And we're at this mastermind and we're talking to Justin, who is Justin Sardi, for those who don't know, who's like a legitimate YouTube advertising expert, and he had never seen
numbers
that low.
Yeah. So the cost per view is low because it's viral and I'm getting a lot of organic traffic and shares and that kind of stuff for it. So why that worked really well is because it kind of makes fun of dentists, but in a way that's not mean.
Right.
And so hygienists, when they see the video, are tagging each other and their dentist bosses in it like crazy.
Right.
And they're sharing it to their Facebook page for their dentist office and saying, come and see us, we're lonely, and it's like it's sort of a great share for them.
Yeah.
So it's this cute sort of tongue-in-cheek song, and some people just don't even get it. They're like, what is with this?
Well, another thing that I love about the whole concept is like we said at the beginning, this isn't a dream character for you. You don't have a passion for dental hygiene.
No.
You don't, you didn't have a dream of making a cartoon character when you were a kid or anything, and it's just... Most people think that it has to be this deep, passionate, creative source behind these kind of things driving it, and you're just moving these assets around and putting basically minimal effort into it and throwing it at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
But you do have a strong vision, but you're also putting it out there and letting it bounce off the real world and see what happens with it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get held up thinking you need this big, huge master plan, and I doubt when you started tweeting or whatever, and started messing with this 2 months ago, that you would specifically have this endorsement deal in place the way that it happened, but it came together because you threw it out there and started reacting as people were interacting with it, right?
Yeah. There was no master plan, and if we're to say anything that I'm passionate about, I'm passionate about my own laziness,
right?
And I'm passionate about money and it coming easily.
Right.
And so the idea behind this was I could create something that eventually would take on a life of its own. Yeah. And once that was to happen, I could do deals where I would just license out the likeness,
right,
with a certain, a certain set of criteria that goes along with that. But outside of that, I don't really have to worry about it too much. I don't have to write every song or write every word that he speaks, or eventually that can be outsourced or can be better talent can be leveraged to do that stuff. But the idea is that it becomes this thing that people pay just to have it on their packaging,
right?
Or to have
recognition.
Yeah, and at that point, the for me that's where the payoff is, because that's where I can be 100% lazy,
right,
and do nothing and collect royalties, and
right.
that's the whole.
Because you're not in it to have your own brand of floss with GlossyBox on it. You want someone to pay you to stick GlossyBox
on their floss.
On their floss.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't ever want to. I'm not a physical products guy.
Right.
I refuse to do physical products.
Yeah.
And I just the idea of it.
It's just a really, I would say, innovative. It is kind of, but it's just sort of looking at what exists, and everyone else in our industry would think product first, and then use the product to build the brand. And you're like, no, we'll just build the brand, and then let people come and ask us to stick it on their products.
Yeah.
And it's a total 180 from the normal philosophy, and it's just because you're approaching it from the other end. So I got these cartoonists sitting around, instead of just creating clip art, which has a ceiling on value.
Yep.
How can I get them to create something more valuable out of it?
Yeah, that has unlimited leverage potential.
Yeah, and it's one of those things I'm literally just thinking of this now, but I think one of the reasons it appeals to me is I actually, ages ago, before I was ever in business, I used to do a webcomic, and that was the goal behind it was people couldn't tell if it was being serious or not. Like we talked before, I have an art degree. I can actually draw.
Yeah.
And the comic was deliberately made as bad Photoshop edits of photos you could find on Google Images.
Yeah.
So like one time, Something Awful picked my comic as the awful side of the day, and ruthlessly made fun of me for being a talentless artist. And I'm like, that's the joke. You've just cashed in on the joke.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people get caught up in perfectionism or having a master plan, when really it's just minimal amount of work, shove it out there and see how people start interacting with it. Because the internet's about people. It's not automation. It's not numbers. You're making things that people are interested in, and that's why they share it.
Yeah, making them laugh. I'm making something that's designed for a certain group of people, and they love it. And the funny thing is, I can't draw. Right. I couldn't draw Brushy Bear if you paid me $1 million.
I could picture some production company getting hired by some dental association and being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to put something like this together with the visuals and the book and the songs.
Yeah.
And you've done it on a shoestring budget for almost nothing.
Yep.
And you do it yourself, and it's not even a weird thing for you. You're just you told me, Brushy Bear's Twitter is on your phone.
Yeah.
So you just be going about your day and messing with people while they're at the dentist.
Yep.
It's amazing. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, you too.
Well, that's it with this interview with Brad. They just brought us the check. Brunch is over, so I hope you enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. Thanks a lot, Brad, for your time.
Thank you. It was fun.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's it. Look for maybe some secret notes and things in the footer of this eventually, but I hope you enjoyed the audio. And if you liked it, we'll do more of these. Thank you.